Consider being in a relationship where you constantly feel like you're walking on eggshells, where your thoughts and feelings are dismissed, and your self-esteem slowly deteriorates. This is not the plot of a suspenseful thriller. It is the unfortunate reality for many people trapped in psychologically abusive relationships. Today, we'll delve into this critical topic, looking at the 7 signs of psychological abuse. But before we begin this journey, I encourage you to share any personal experiences or stories you may have about this topic in the comments below. Your voice is important, and sharing your story can be a powerful step towards healing. Welcome back to Wellness Lenses, where every conversation is a deep dive into mental wellness. If you're new here, a special warm welcome to you as well. We know you're going to like it here. If today's topic is something that appeals to you, please consider subscribing to our channel for more content on mental health and psychology. We're now also on Substack, so check the link in the description box below. Now, let's define psychological abuse. Psychological abuse, also referred to as emotional abuse, is a type of mistreatment that involves manipulation, control, and degradation of another person's mental and emotional well-being. Unlike physical abuse, which leaves visible scars, psychological abuse causes invisible wounds that can be equally, if not more, damaging. So, what are the 7 signs of psychological abuse? Let's get into each one. Gaslighting is an insidious form of manipulation that causes the victim to question their own reality, sanity, and even their memories. Over time, gaslighting can leave the victim feeling confused, anxious, and disoriented as they struggle to distinguish between what is real and what is made up by the abuser. The abuser may use gaslighting to undermine the victim's confidence and assert control over them, resulting in a power dynamic in which the victim becomes more reliant on the abuser's version of reality. Imagine your partner constantly denies events that you clearly recall happening. For example, they may say, "You're imagining things. I never said that," despite your vivid memory of hurtful comments they made. Over time, you begin to doubt your own memory and perception of reality, as if you're losing control over what's true. Isolation. This is when abusers' isolation tactics disconnect the victim from their support systems and external validation sources. The abuser can exert greater control over the victim's thoughts, behaviors, and emotions by isolating them, making it more difficult for them to seek help or leave the abusive situation. This isolation can also lead to feelings of loneliness, helplessness, and despair, as the victim becomes more reliant on the abuser for social interaction and validation. Consider a scenario in which your friend's partner becomes increasingly controlling, discouraging them from socializing with friends and family. They may subtly criticize your friend's loved ones, making them feel guilty about wanting to keep those relationships. Eventually, your friend withdraws from social situations, feeling isolated and alone. Verbal abuse. This form of abuse can take many forms, including overt insults and name-calling, as well as subtle put-downs and sarcasm. Verbal abuse, regardless of its form, is designed to erode the victim's self-esteem and confidence, leaving them feeling worthless, ashamed, and undeserving of love and respect. The constant barrage of verbal attacks can erode the victim's sense of self-worth and identity, making it difficult for them to assert themselves or confront the abuser. Consider a situation in which a coworker constantly mocks and criticizes you in front of others. They may make fun of your ideas in meetings, call you derogatory names, or make disparaging remarks about your appearance. Despite your attempts to dismiss it, their words erode your self-esteem, leaving you feeling worthless and demoralized. Manipulation and control. Abusers use manipulation tactics such as deception, coercion, or the exploitation of vulnerabilities to maintain power and control over their victims. Guilt tripping, love bombing, and mind games are all examples of tactics used to keep the victim off balance and submissive. By manipulating the victim's thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, the abuser can effectively trap them in an abusive cycle, making it difficult for them to break free and seek assistance. Consider a relationship in which your partner uses manipulation techniques to undermine your autonomy. They may guilt trip you into canceling plans with friends by claiming they will be lonely without you. Alternatively, they may threaten to harm themselves if you attempt to leave, leaving you feeling trapped and responsible for their well-being. Financial abuse, a form of control. Financial abuse can make the victim feel trapped and reliant on the abuser for financial support. Withholding money, sabotaging job opportunities, or controlling access to bank accounts and assets are all examples of this. Financial abuse can have long-term consequences for the victim's financial security and independence, making it difficult to leave the abusive relationship or rebuild their lives after escaping. Consider a spouse who has complete control over the household finances, giving you limited access to money and scrutinizing every purchase you make. They may prevent you from pursuing higher education or career opportunities by insisting that you stay at home to complete household chores. As a result, you feel financially dependent and unable to change your circumstances. Emotional neglect. This form of abuse occurs when the abuser fails to meet the emotional needs of the victim, which include affection, empathy, and support. This can make the victim feel unloved, invisible, and unworthy of care, resulting in feelings of loneliness, emptiness, and despair. Emotional neglect can be just as harmful as overt abuse because it undermines the victim's sense of self-worth and belonging, leaving them feeling isolated and disconnected from others. Imagine a parent who consistently ignores your emotional needs, dismissing your feelings and concerns as insignificant. They may prioritize their own needs and desires, making you feel invisible and unimportant. Despite your desire for affection and validation, you learn to suppress your feelings, believing they are unworthy of attention. Intimidation and threats. Abusers use intimidation tactics to instill fear and control in their victims, frequently by threatening physical violence, property destruction, or aggressive behavior. Even if the threats are never carried out, the mere presence of intimidation can make the victim feel unsafe and powerless, reinforcing the abuser's control over them. Intimidation and threats can foster a climate of fear and coercion, making it difficult for the victim to speak up or seek assistance. Consider a scenario in which your boss employs intimidation tactics to keep employees in line. They may yell and scream when things don't go their way, slamming their fists on the table and making veiled threats about job security, even though they never carry out their threats. The atmosphere of fear and uncertainty makes you feel anxious and on edge. Have you ever experienced any of these signs of psychological abuse or seen them in someone you care about? Your story may provide comfort and support to those who are going through similar situations. Do not be afraid to share your story in the comments and let your voice be heard. Together, we can end the silence and raise awareness about the realities of psychological abuse. Now that we've covered the 7 signs of psychological abuse, it's important to remember that no one deserves to be mistreated. If you or someone you know is experiencing psychological abuse, know that there is help available. Seek advice and support from trusted friends, family members, or mental health professionals. You deserve dignity, respect, and kindness. Remember that you are not alone, and there is hope for healing and recovery. Reach out, speak up, and begin the process of reclaiming your power and well-being. Thank you for joining me today to discuss this important topic. If you found valuable information in this video, please give it a like, share it with your loved ones, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you've made it this far, a special thank you to you. In case you missed it, we're now on Substack. You can get free summaries of each video if you subscribe, and if you want full details of each video's topic, with references and helpful resources, we offer a paid subscription for a small fee. Just click the link below. See you in the next video.